The jungle air was thick and heavy. It was filled with the scent of damp earth and blooming flowers. A single beam of sunlight broke through the dense canopy above. It illuminated a small clearing, creating a natural stage. The light fell upon the forest floor, making the fallen leaves glow like gold. All around, the sounds of the wild created a constant humming symphony. Insects buzzed in a low, persistent drone. Distant birds called out with sharp, melodic cries. It was a world teeming with life. Yet in this one small space, a profound stillness had fallen, a quiet before an unimaginable event. Every leaf seemed to hold its breath. The usual chatter of monkeys had ceased. Even the wind, which moments before had rustled through the giant ferns, now seemed to be waiting. The atmosphere was charged with an unseen energy, a palpable tension that vibrated through the very ground itself. This was a place where the laws of nature were absolute, where survival was a daily struggle. The clearing, usually a place of peaceful respite for smaller creatures, was about to become an arena for a confrontation that defied all logic and expectation. The stage was set, and the world waited. The light shifted subtly as a cloud passed overhead. The golden spotlight dimmed for a moment, casting long dancing shadows across the clearing. The air grew cooler. It was a place of immense beauty, but also of great danger. Every shadow could hide a predator. Every rustle in the undergrowth could signal the approach of something powerful, something ancient. The jungle does not judge, it simply is. And on this day it was to bear witness to a moment of extraordinary courage, a story that would be whispered on the wind for seasons to come. This small patch of earth, no larger than a human dwelling, was a microcosm of the entire ecosystem. Here, life and death performed their eternal dance. The rich soil was a testament to countless generations of decay and rebirth. The towering trees with their sprawling roots were silent witnesses to ages of struggle and triumph. It was into this ancient, sacred space that our two unlikely protagonists were about to step. The grandeur of the setting only served to highlight the incredible drama that was about to unfold under the watchful eye of the jungle itself. From the deep, dark shadows, a giant emerged. It was a tiger. Its magnificent coat was a tapestry of fiery orange and profound black. Each stripe was a bold brushstroke, a perfect camouflage for this world of light and shade. It moved with a silent, deliberate grace that contradicted its immense size and power. Its massive paws, each one armed with claws like sharpened daggers, made no sound as they pressed into the soft earth. The tiger was the undisputed ruler of this domain, an apex predator at the peak of its strength and majesty. With each step, muscles rippled beneath its striped skin. It was a living embodiment of raw, untamed power. Its head was large and noble, and its amber eyes surveyed the clearing with an air of complete ownership. A low rumble began deep in its chest, a sound that was more felt than heard. It was the sound of absolute confidence, the sound of a creature that knows no fear. The tiger paused at the edge of the clearing, its long tail twitching almost imperceptibly. It was a monarch inspecting its kingdom, unaware of the tiny subject that dared to stand in its path. The sheer presence of the animal was overwhelming. It seemed to absorb the light, to command the very air around it. The smaller creatures that had been hidden in the undergrowth now burrowed deeper, their hearts pounding with instinctual terror. This was the king, the hunter, the final word in the jungle's brutal law. Its powerful jaws, capable of crushing bone with ease, were slightly parted, revealing long white canines. The tiger was not hunting. It was simply walking, and its path happened to cross this clearing. Its world was one of instinct and dominance. The air itself grew heavy with the tiger's scent, a musky, primal aroma that spoke of meat and earth and wildness. Any other creature would have fled long ago. To stand before such a magnificent beast was to stand before a force of nature like a hurricane or an earthquake. It was a creature of legend, a ghost of the forest made real. and as it stepped fully into the spotlight of the sun, its incredible size and strength were on full display, a breathtaking spectacle of nature's perfect design for power and survival. And then there was the other. In the very center of the clearing sat a small house cat. It was a creature utterly out of place in this wild, untamed world. With its neat black and white fur and delicate frame, it was a miniature version of the great predator before it. It looked like a tiny, misplaced shadow against the vibrant green of the jungle floor. It should have been terrified. It should have been a trembling, frozen speck of fear, but it was not. The small cat sat perfectly still, its posture radiating a calm and defiant confidence that was simply astonishing. Its green eyes, bright and clear, were fixed upon the approaching giant. There was no panic in its gaze. Instead, there was a sharp, focused intelligence. Its small ears were pricked forward, catching every subtle sound. Its tail, a thin whip of black fur, lay curled neatly around its paws. This was not the behavior of prey. This was the stance of an animal that, against all odds, believed in its own right to exist, to occupy its own space, even in the face of overwhelming power. It was a domestic soul with the heart of a warrior. How it came to be here is a mystery. Perhaps it was a lost pet from a nearby village, a creature of comfort thrust into a world of chaos. Yet, in this moment, its origins did not matter. What mattered was the spirit it displayed. It was a testament to the idea that courage is not the absence of fear, but the will to stand firm despite it. The sheer difference in scale was almost comical. The tiger's paw was larger than the cat's entire head. Yet, the cat did not flinch. It held its ground with a silent, dignified resolve. This small creature, so familiar in a human home, seemed to tap into an ancient shared ancestry. Deep within its DNA, it was still a predator, a hunter. It was a distant cousin to the magnificent beast that now stood before it. And in this moment of truth, that shared lineage seemed to rise to the surface. It was as if the little cat was reminding the tiger and the world that size is not the only measure of strength. Courage, it seemed to say, could make even the smallest of beings feel like a giant. The tiger let out a roar. It was not a full-throated cry of aggression, but a deep, guttural warning. The sound wave ripped through the clearing, shaking the leaves on the trees. It was a sound designed to paralyze, to shatter the will of any creature that heard it. But the small cat did not run. Instead, it arched its back, its fur standing on end, making it appear twice its size. It answered the tiger's roar with a fierce, defiant hiss, a sound ridiculously small in comparison, yet filled with an equal measure of spirit and indignation. Intrigued and perhaps annoyed, the tiger took another step forward. It slowly raised one of its enormous front paws. The movement was almost lazy, a casual gesture of immense power. Then, with surprising speed, it swiped. The giant paw, with its hidden claws, sliced through the air where the cat had been just a fraction of a second before. But the cat was no longer there. With a burst of incredible agility, it had leapt sideways, landing silently a few feet away. It immediately turned to face the tiger again, its green eyes blazing with intensity. For a moment, everything seemed to happen in slow motion. As the tiger's paw crashed into the ground, dirt and dried leaves exploded into the air, swirling in the shaft of sunlight. The particles danced like golden dust, momentarily obscuring the two animals. Through the haze, their eyes remained locked. The tiger's amber gaze held a flicker of surprise, a hint of respect for this impossibly bold creature. The cat's green eyes were unblinking, a portrait of pure, undiluted courage. It was a silent conversation between two worlds. The standoff held for another long moment. The tiger, this magnificent king of the jungle, looked at the small, defiant creature. It had met its match, not in strength, but in spirit, with a soft, final chuff of air. The tiger seemed to make a decision. It was not worth the effort. With a slow turn, the great beast padded away, disappearing back into the shadows from which it came. The small cat watched it go, then after a moment it sat down, tucked its paws beneath itself and began to groom, as if to say that courage is not just about the fight, but about the calm that follows.